What's up, guys? Welcome back to yet another Dragon Blaze video. Hopefully everybody's doing well. Hopefully everybody's getting a new hero and achieving everything you want to achieve in Dragon Blaze. Lots of new players, grind game, one of the best games of the year to play, no doubt about it. Today's video is going to be, well, we're supposed to be finishing up the Mage investment series, but a person commented on one of my videos, I believe on one of my Howard videos, to cover a warrior particularly. So we're going to go ahead and cover her. Said that she was really good, so we're going to check her out. She's one of the third impacts. I haven't done the warrior section yet. I was gonna get to that, but let's go ahead and do that real quick. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that, because I was going to cover warriors soon. I don't think I've done it yet, like I just said before, but we're going to just come over here real quick, do that, and then go back to the mages within the week. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, so it's this warrior right here. So I've used her a little bit, obviously, because I put some hero cards into it. She's actually pretty good, but let's see what she can do. Warrior physical tank. Always need your tanks. They're very important. I put one treasure card into her so far, so let's see what she can do. Alright, so it says attacks upon an enemy and nearby enemies, increasing STR upon normal attack 7th phase for 5 seconds. So that's actually really good. STR is one of your main stats. The fact that she hits enemy and all nearby enemies is actually very important. She has a little AoE built into her, which is always great. Considering she's a tank, that's actually really nice. 7th phase for 5 seconds. That can be very meaningful at times. So I definitely love that very much. All right, so it says type inflicts 2,500, 25% skill damage on one enemy, cooldown 11.6 seconds. Let's see why. She has 3 specialties here. The first one says remove all buffs from all enemies 7th phase, which is actually really good. The fact that she removes all buffs 7th phase, which is quite important. Now, keep in mind, if you have 8th phase buffs and higher, she will not remove those. So keep that in mind. But the fact that she removes them all, as long as they're 7th phase or lower, that can be very meaningful. The second one says inflicts 1,010% additional skill damage on all enemies. So that's actually really awesome that she, again, always hits everybody, which is great. I love that very much about this hero. And then last, says cast stun effect on all enemies 7th phase for 4.5 seconds, ignores immunities and invasion. So we're going too far. That's actually quite meaningful. The fact that she can do that, and again, it's 7th phase. So if it's higher, it's not going to matter. But as long as 7th phase or lower, that's going to be very meaningful. Now, it doesn't hit bosses, which can be critically important at times. But the fact that she stuns all enemies, ignores invasions and immunities, that's quite good. Definitely for sure. The next one says inflicts 2,278% skill damage on one enemy. This is the next ability. Cooldown 12.3 seconds. Let's see why. She has 3 specialties here. The first one says removes all buffs from enemies, which she already does that already for the first one. So that's okay. The second one says removes all debuffs from all allies. Now that is really good. Again, 7th phase. So it has to be 7th phase. If it's higher, it's not going to matter. But that's actually really good. So you have any 7th phase or lower debuffs, that can be very helpful, especially when you're fighting through challenges and stuff like that. That's awesome. She has 4 specialties. That's pretty sweet. I really like that a lot. The third one says inflicts 1,111% additional skill damage on all nearby enemies. So just more AoE attacks. That's very meaningful. And then the fourth one says cast an effect that causes one damage out up to 5 attacks on all allies. 11th phase for 10 seconds. So now that's what I mean. That's actually really, 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 really good. So she's more of like in my opinion, more of utility because she's a tank. So she does decent damage, but she's here really for utility and being a tank. So she definitely will keep her team alive through that 11th phase for 10 seconds. So it's going to take a little time for it to come back, but that's really meaningful. That's actually really, really, really good. And then for her last ability, it says signature skill upon charging 100% signature energy. 3 specialties. It says inflicts 15,150% skill damage on one enemy, which is a lot. That's a lot. The second one says inflicts 6,060 additional skill damage on all enemies, which is very useful because before she doesn't cause that much damage. So the fact that it's increasing is very useful. And then it says third specialty attacks in the last attack state for 12 seconds. So we're going to see what that is because they normally don't put all of their stuff on the screen. But so far she's pretty impressive. Definitely pretty impressive. Let's go back to all her abilities to make sure we didn't miss anything, however. So yeah, we have 4 here. Yep, there we go. And then the signature. So last attack right here, it says cast last attack effect. Cast immunity on all allies. 11th phase recovers 100% HP when immunity ends, which is very, very, very meaningful. That's pretty powerful right there. Definitely quite amazing for sure. And then the last attack ends effect, it says inflicts 4,040% additional skill damage on all nearby enemies, which is great. The effect too says inflicts 30% max HP as additional damage on all enemies, excluding bosses. So again, I kind of wish she dealt more damage to bosses, but overall, that's really meaningful. 30% of max HP, that's a lot. So as long as she's healthy, it's going to cost a lot of damage. The third one says taunt all enemies, 8th phase for 5 seconds. That's nothing too special there. It's because she is a tank, so you kind of expect that from a tank. So it allows them to focus on her, so therefore your team can combat whatever they're facing again. That's quite good, but that's to be expected. And then the last one says cast an effect that causes only more damage up to 10 attacks on all 11th phase for 10 seconds. So that's very, 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 very meaningful. She's definitely, wouldn't say she's the best warrior because she's not one. She's a paladin, but she's a tank. However, well, I mean, she is a warrior, but I don't really consider her that way in a warrior. She does a lot of like tankish stuff. So I kind of consider her more of like a tank paladin versus a warrior. But in my opinion, she's really, really, really good. Let's go to her passives though. Great battle. It says a conditional special skill cooldown 9.6 seconds. When there are 3 or more enemies attacked, activate it even when entering the battlefield. Specialty 1. It says inflicts 3,030% additional skill damage on one enemy. Not bad. Specialty 2, it says inflicts 1,212% additional skill damage on nearby enemies, which is actually great. We love to see that because AoE is actually very helpful. And then 3, it says stun all enemies 7th phase for 4 seconds, ignores immunities and invasion, excluding boss types. I mean, you can never not love that. That is just wonderful. Cast an effect that causes 1 damage out up to 5 attacks on all allies, 7th phase for 11 seconds. You love it. Again, that's why I look at her as more of like a paladin type of tank versus a warrior, because she has a lot of like utility, in my opinion. So that's kind of how I look at her. But she's quite amazing. That's for sure. Best warrior in the game. It just kind of depends on what you look at it, because once your heroes gets very, very powerful, it kind of just doesn't matter anymore. So that's why I look at the 4th impact as being the best warrior currently in the game, because you're brute forcing through everything. Now, for lower level people who don't have lots of high power, it's between her and then this other person. I can't remember, but she's definitely phenomenally powerful for lower end teams who aren't that strong, in my opinion. Because she's quite good. And I was going to cover her eventually once I get to the warrior section, but personal passive STR increased STR by 162% and then reduced receive damage by 61%, which is powerful. You gotta love that. Ditching out and then receiving less. Ally Aura 1 reduced receive damage by 50% and receive magic damage by 15%, which is very powerful. Ally Aura 2 increased buff duration by 10% and reduced debuff duration by 10%. So there we go. She's so utility based. That is so wonderful that she helped out. And she does a lot of great work keeping your buffs around, decreasing debuffs. It's quite amazing. Enemy aura reduces buff duration by 10% and increased debuff duration by 10%. There we go. It's the reverse aspect for who you're fighting. Specialty says upon normal attacks, block skill for archer, mage, and incanter enemies, 7th phase for 5 seconds. Ignores immunities and evasion excluding bosses. So there you go. Like, she's just super duper utility based, making sure teams stay alive, stunning people, make sure you take less damage. So when it comes to like the third impact, like warriors, she will definitely probably be the best in that group, because in this game, she's only gonna really matter if like your team is just dumb powerful, and at that point you probably won't see her abilities that much as the game is getting so powerful and so progressive. So I kind of see where you're coming from when you say she's like the best in your opinion, but this game is all about power, and once you reach that point, certain stuff kind of just doesn't matter. So for beginners and lower levels, and when you start reaching that mid-tier power, she is definitely your go-to, and I agree with that 100%. And she's going to be useful in whatever you're using her, because you're going to have to use her at some point anyway. But I definitely enjoy her. It says, that's your 10-man arena. Guild takeover passives. A personal passive increased physical attack by 909% and SJ by 242%. Ally Aura increased main stat by 121% and STA by the same percentage I just said, which is great. Ally Aura 2 increases debuff duration by 10% and reduces debuff duration by 10. Enemy Aura reduces debuff duration by 10% and then increases it by the same percentage. Specialty, upon normal attacks, casts an effect that also blocks damage up to 3 attacks on warrior allies. So this one's actually real specific. And then obviously this is kind of where I have her, because I stopped investing into her, which in the future I may reinvest. And then we have her infinity passive. Personal passive, increase STR by 39 and physical attack by 206%. Ally Aura, increase skill attack by 71% and main stats by 24%. Specialty 1, the skill block for archer, mage, and incanter enemies upon normal attack becomes 8th phase, which is very important there. It increases it, makes it harder to mess with. Specialty 2, upon using spin slash buff, removes become 8th phase for all enemies. Very important. There we go. Specialty 3, upon using spin slash stun effect on all enemies, is increased to 8th phase. So good. Specialty 4, upon using stay strong buff, remove for all enemies, and debuff removes for all allies, become 8th phase, which is very good. And then you have your 10-man arena passive down here. Personal passive, increase main stats by 115%, and ally aura increase skill attack by 133%, physical attack by 156%, and AoE by 211%. So how do I feel about her? She's quite powerful. The best in the game? No. But quite powerful? Yes. Utility base? Yes. If you invest a lot of your time into her, she's going to put in a dumb amount of work. I don't really look at her as a warrior, because warriors usually deal like just dumb butt tons of damage. But I look at her in a warrior in this way, is she provides for your team, and her being a tank, because usually DPSs deal the most damage. So she's a warrior / physical tank, so you kind of get the best of both worlds when it comes to her. So I put her in both categories. But yes, I was going to cover eventually, and I'm happy you want me to cover this hero now. She's very powerful. And now you have to make her stronger. You know, you're going to fight against a lot of weak stuff early on in the game, and you're going to get stronger later to really put her to the test. But yes, she's quite incredible. For beginners and like returning players in like mid-level in the game, you definitely want to use her for sure. And I got some armor I'm going to be getting for her soon, and probably get her some more cards. The team I have now just brute forces through the majority of the stuff in the game. I mean, I'm stuck in Challenger Dungeon right now. I just have to reconfigure my team a little bit. But yes, she is. She's very, 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 very strong, and this is one of the heroes that you definitely should invest into. I can't because fourth impacts are out, and I'm focusing on them more because they actually give you more. So, but she's definitely worth having on the lineup. Very utility base, stun base, reduced damage, increases debuffs. I mean, increases buffs, reduces debuffs. She just does it all, in my opinion. Stays alive, gives you immunity, gives you HP. She definitely does it all. So if you're definitely struggling, do like your earlier parts of the game, new players, returning players, this is definitely the one for you. As for me, I'm not going to use her currently because I'm using just much stronger heroes currently because the game's all about power. There is utility that does matter, but she's definitely amazing. So definitely props up for her. Absolutely. But that is today's video, guys. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and I'm very glad I get to cover her because it was quite awesome covering her. But until next time, I will see you for the next one.